Hello YouTube. Bane666 here. So yesterday I posted a video about a YouTuber called paperpics, and the inaccuracies in his video about me. He has since apologized for those inaccuracies, I'm not sure where, but he claims he has, so I'll take his word for it. Hopefully this will be a good life lesson for him, and he'll check basic facts next time before putting his proverbial foot in his mouth. But I'm actually making this video about a common comment made by many of my subscribers. It's the, "he's only a feminist to get laid," argument. I have seen this type of comment a lot in the men's rights movement, and personally I think it's a very poor argument to make. And here's why. It sounds like, and should be put in the same category as feminists who say, you're only an MRA because you can't get laid. Both arguments reduce male motivation to sex. And personally I think we are more complex than that. On the other hand, if you were talking about getting female attention, or validation, then I would agree. I think this is at the heart of the motivation of many white knights, manginers, and male feminist allies. Not to mention many men in general. I don't know if it's genetic, or environment, most likely a very complex mix of the two, but it is a very common male trait to desperately seek female validation, and the results can be disastrous for many men. Not to mention those like Elliot Rodger who go in the opposite direction. What we men's rights activists, and MGTOW should be about, is freeing ourselves from the need of female validation. And I think, for the most part we do a good job. The other factor at the heart of the motivation of many white knights, manginers, and male feminist allies, not to mention many men in general, I think is indoctrination. It's like they have been taught their entire life that the world is flat, and that construct of their world is logical from their point of view. But then someone like us, comes along one day, and says, well actually the world is round. To them, from their point of view, this is illogical, it's crazy talk, and it's challenging. And without a firm grasp of the theory of gravity, wouldn't it be logical to think that everything south of the equator would just fall off? This is what we are dealing with, individuals who have been fed false information, bad logic and half-truths their entire lives. It's not really their fault. And let's face it, many of you watching this were just like them, at least to some degree, before waking up. So come on guys, let's keep to a higher standard than our opposition, and do away with the, "he only wants to get laid," argument. We can do better than that. Because it's a much more complex, and more important issue, than just reducing it down to having a hard-on. Anyway, as always, feel free to express your opinion below. Oh, and by the way, I think the kid has learned to think before he acts, or at least has started to, so we should probably just leave him alone. He's probably not a bad guy at heart, and no doubt thinks he's on the just side. So feel free to respond to any attacks he may make in future, but unless that happens, it's probably best to leave him be.